Three, two, one. Love and light, everyone. Good morning. It is so good to see you all here today for our first Soul Food Sessions of the year. My name is Cameron Whitten. I'm the founder, the chief executive officer, and the chief healing officer for Brown Hope. I'm so excited for this. Soul Food Sessions is our monthly live stream check-in on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and we're just here to do what we do best, build community, to share just the exciting work that Brown Hope is doing, and of course, keep us focused on what we all care for and yearn for, which is racial healing. There are 3 parts to Soul Food Sessions every month. We start off with the T, which is the hot goss, what's going on out there in the community when it comes to racial justice. We then have next the plate, which is focused on a huge heaping of updates happening within Brown Hope, our organization over the past month. And then finally, we close out with the cake. And we focus on recommending a healing strategy that you can use in your own life to live the best life you can imagine. So with that, let us begin Soul Food Sessions. Shout out to our communications manager, Ema, on the back end, helping make this happen. And yes, we have time for Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, throw them in the chat and we'll have that time for that in the end. So the first off, the T. And the T today is talking about Scott Adams, who is known for the famous, or now infamous, Dilbert comic strip. He has been in a load of controversy over the past couple of weeks. And I remember as a kid growing up seeing Dilbert every week in the Sunday comics. And I'll say, I thought it was funny. You know, Dilbert was like Office before the Office. And so I know that Dilbert is something that has been ubiquitously known and has been in almost 100 different newspapers and magazines over the years. Well, something that I didn't know, but apparently has been known for a very long time, is that Scott Adams has some very problematic racial views that he's been espousing for years, possibly his whole career. I'm just finding this out, y'all. And so just a couple of weeks ago, different newspapers started pulling Dilbert from their comics because Scott Adams went to his YouTube channel, which he frequently does, spouting his very public views. And he was talking about some poll that a conservative polling group did about race relations. And one of the big questions was, is it okay to be white? And Scott Adams was talking about the results of the poll, and he mentioned that there were Black folks who also did the poll. 53% said it was okay to be white. 26 said that it was not okay to be white. And then 21% said they were not sure. And I can get a shout out to these not sure people, because that is an interesting thing to be undecided about. And I hope that they take some time to think about their answer. Well, Scott Adams went on his YouTube channel and said, this is an example of how race relations will never be fixed in this country. And he says that this is why white people should avoid Black people, and just keeps on spouting out this whole thing that he is this victim because of his skin, and that Black people are somehow ruining his life, which was shocking for folks who heard about this YouTube video. But what we should also know is that this isn't shocking. Scott Adams has been talking about this, espousing these beliefs for a very long time. I haven't had a chance to do all the research, but even back in 2020, Scott Adams was making his own false narrative of his victimization because of race, went on Twitter and said that a TV show that he had for his Dilbert comic between 1999 and 2000 was canceled because the network wanted to focus on an African-American audience. He said that was the 3rd job he lost for being white. I don't know. I was around in 2000, and all I could say from lived experience, there was no major TV station trying to focus on a Black audience at that time. We had to make BET because TV stations were focused on Black audiences. So Scott Adams, that is a very, very fantastical story. Uh, Also earlier this year, Scott said he would self-identify as a Black woman until Biden picks a Supreme Court nominee. I realize it's a long shot, but I don't want to completely take myself out of conversation for the job. So he's been out here just poking deliberately at communities. What folks should also know is that Scott Adams, he had already started having his comic being pulled back in 2020 because he introduced his first ever Black character into his comic series, which he's been doing for years. Well, the same time he does this, he says publicly, oh, I only introduced a Black character to my comics to make a joke on woke culture. So all of this talk about him being the target of racism, he seems to be making a lot of racially offensive comics over and over, and like deliberately saying things that are hurtful about Black people, deliberately making fun of us having fair representation in his comic. Like he did us a favor by making fun of a culture where we think that we exist and media should include our narratives and our beliefs. Well, now he is complaining that he's been canceled because apparently everybody should listen to this hateful vitriol, even though we got so many other better things to do. Scott, sorry. I will pull a final comment from the Oregonian. So NPR actually did a quote from the Oregonian's editor, Therese Bottomley, and she wrote, "Some readers will no doubt deride my decision as an example of overly woke culture or as a knee-jerk politically correct response. What about free speech, they might ask? Isn't this censorship? No one is taking Adams' free speech rights away. He is free to share his abhorrent comments on YouTube and Twitter, so long as those companies allow them. This also isn't censorship. It's editing. Editors make decisions every day about what to publish, balancing the need to inform against the possibility of offending reader sensibilities." Those are eloquent words, Therese Bottomley, and I suggest that all of us also do some editing and edit out Dilbert from our reading list and edit out Scott Adams from our YouTube and Twitter following. He'll say what he wants, and what I know is that we are focused on being our best selves, and this country is ready to move forward on race and ready to move forward on racial healing. And I hope that Scott Adams will learn himself some humility and learn that our voices do matter. So that is the tea for the day. Let's move on to the plate. And this is going to be all the different updates for about going on at Brown Hope. If you have any questions, throw them in the chats. So a lot of things have happened in this past month. We have been growing and rebuilding as an organization. We've brought on 3 new board members that have been meeting actively with the organization. We have hired an interim chief operating officer, an interim HR director. So we've been seeing an expansion in our team, really helping make sure that we have the staffing and support that we need to continue to deliver our important and vital programs for the community. We've also been focused a lot on healing. 2022 was a hard year for us, as it was for many people. And being a healing justice organization, we know that we must walk the walk. And so we spent some time last month holding a healing session for all of our staff. We brought in professional licensed somatic therapist, and we made a space for us to share from a place of vulnerability and authenticity and trust about this work that comes with a lot of stress, a lot of demand. And how can we show up for each other? And what changes can we make as an organization so that all of us can approach this work healthier? And so I will say that that was a beautiful moment for me. I cried during a lot of it because I love this team. And I'm so grateful that we are all committed to working in an organization that wants to see radical change in our communities, who understands that we all have healing work that we have to do from racial trauma in order to help other people that we care about in this community to also heal from racial trauma. And so I encourage any organization, invest in healing for your team. It's not enough just to have employee assistance plans and health insurance. What are you doing to actually create spaces for your team as a collective to have healing? We model this here at Brown Hope, and we hope that other organizations model it as well. And we've also continued to invest in our community and healing. We've been having our weekly power hour sessions. We've been hosting them actually at the office while our partners at Alder Commons is going through their renovations. And so we've been bringing more and more people to the Brown Hope office for our weekly power hour sessions. And then also last month, right after Valentine's Day, we launched our first ever village building cohort meeting for Black Resilience Fund. As a reminder to everyone, we have 25 households in Multnomah County that are now with the Black Resilience Fund for our first ever village building program, along with a 3-year guaranteed income. Each cohort participant will receive up to $2,000 a month in direct cash assistance, red tape free completely. We have now done 3 monthly installments of that guaranteed income. We also have this village building program where we bring folks together to develop relationships, to build social capital. And we also provide trainings, educational opportunities to build their internal knowledge and their spiritual capital. And so we had our first cohort session right after Valentine's Day, and it was beautiful from the jump. We had cohort members sharing resources with each other, sharing words of affirmation. One of the cohort members said, "This is the first time in my life that I ever have felt powerful." And another member responded, "You are stepping into your power." We are seeing Black folks discover what we already knew from the jump, that they're powerful, but they're now discovering it for themselves, and they're around other people who see, celebrate, and invest in their power as well. That's thanks to you, Portland. That is thanks to your ongoing support of Black Resilience Fund, your support of our Black neighbors, and we are just getting started. So the Black Resilience Fund 25 cohort, they're going to be meeting on a monthly basis, continuing to build that power, continuing to build those relationships. And by the end of this 3-year program, we're going to see these folks shine. So we're super grateful to see all the great updates happening at Brown Hope. We also just finished Black History Month. And so I do hope that you are on our social media. I do hope that you're on our newsletter, because we also spent February celebrating Black History Month, celebrating both our history, but also our futures. And so we're super grateful for everyone who helped us to have a super successful Black History Month. Okay, that is all we have for the plate. Before we go to the cake, want to stop and see, do we have any questions from the audience? Ema, what do we got?
How can we get involved at Brown Hope as volunteer?
Ooh, I love that question. One of my favorite questions. Brown Hope is open for business, and we love volunteers. We love folks getting engaged. So we have a lot of programs with our organization. And since day one, Brown Hope has been a place where volunteers can really get deeply involved in our work, can get their elbows deep, they can help lead. One of the great things that we have going on is the reopening of our Solidarity Squad warehouse. We definitely need a lot of volunteers for that. So if you do fill out the contact form on our website, please reach out. You can volunteer with us there. We also need volunteers for Power Hour. We do a lot of logistics, going out, getting food for that event. We have admin support that we need for our Zoom channel. And then also with Black Resilience Fund, We do our annual Juneteenth campaign every June, and that's coming up. It's almost 100 days away. And so this is a perfect time for folks to sign up, find a way to help us, talk to businesses and community supporters so that we can have a successful Juneteenth campaign. So a lot of ways to volunteer. Go to brownhope.org. Please visit our contact form, and from there, we'll be in touch. Any other questions?
Are there any Brown Hope events coming up?
Ooh, Ema, are there any Brown Hope events coming up? Like, not my job. We do have Brown Hope events coming up. We will let you know. So please sign up for our newsletter. I know that we have a super tasty one in the works, and that date is TBD. And so please follow our social medias and our newsletter and stay in touch for future events. So with that, let's go on to the cake. So now we're talking about healing and wellness, because to do this work, to be resilient, you got to take care of yourself. That is what healing is all about. And so one of my favorite healing strategies is essential oils. Essential oils are amazing. They are magic in a bottle. And there's different herbs and spices and flowers that are, infused with an oil. And you can apply that on your skin. You can put it in a spray. You can put it in a diffuser. Aromatherapy is a huge way to really bring in different smells that can help to relax the nervous system, to help you improve your breathing, to feel grounded, to feel calm. And so I brought two of my favorites, because I got a bunch, but these are two of my OG essential oils. So I got with me here sandalwood, and this is my pretty much everyday body application. Now, I do some other ones, but most of the time, if you smell me, like, what is that? That smells good. It's going to be my friend sandalwood. I love sandalwood. Let me smell some right now. Sandalwood, it definitely is like what it says. It's a sandalwood. So it's got a very rustic tree type of smell to it. I love it because it definitely has this like wise, oaky scent to it. And it feels both grounding for me, but also feels a little like light in a very spiritual way. And so I love that smell of sandalwood, because you do get this this earthy, ancient wisdom kind of vibe, but you also get this you can do it. You've got this, a little bit of like fire. It's a little bit of like inspiring fire to it. And then this is a blend of different oils, and it's called Blissful Magic. And I love Blissful Magic. This one is very fruity. This one is very playful. Definitely is like the name, Blissful Magic. I feel happy. I feel activated. And it kind of feels carefree. So it's very different than sandalwood, which is a little bit more balanced and energizing. And this one is really like, yo, let's go jump outside and do cartwheels or something. And it's a combination of a number of different oils. It includes jasmine, neroli, rose, white lotus, and vetiver. And so it really depends on the mood, what type of, aromatherapy that you need to lift your spirits, to stay present, to be fully in enjoyment of your life. Check them out. There are so many different blends out there for folks. Find one that works for you and see how it can be another tool to help you with your healing journey. So that is the cake. And that is what we have today. I want to thank everyone so much for coming here to Soul Food Sessions. We'll see you again in April for the first Friday of the month. And with that, that's the show. Love and light.